Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, Boom Supersonic achieves Boomless Cruise by XB-1. FAA changes NOTAM acronym again. Vince Neil's jet involved in fatal Arizona accident. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Boom Supersonic achieves Boomless Cruise by XB-1. Boom Supersonic conducted the second supersonic flight of its 1/3 scale demonstrator aircraft XB-1 over California's Mojave Desert. And on the same day, the company announced what it's calling Boomless Cruise for its supersonic Overture airliner. The 13th flight of XB-1 was conducted on February 10, 2025, with Chief Test Pilot Tristan Geppetto Brandenburg at the controls, taking the aircraft through 3 supersonic passes during a 41-minute flight in the Bell X-1 Supersonic Corridor. The flight's objectives were to continue assessing the aircraft's handling characteristics at supersonic speeds, expand the Mach number to 1.14, and to capture specialized Schlieren images of the shock waves as well as sonic boom data on the ground. To capture the Schlieren images, Geppetto had to hand-fly the aircraft at supersonic speed to a precise position at a precise time over the desert to enable a team on the ground to photograph the aircraft as it passed in front of the sun as seen by the team. The ultra-high-speed camera gear captured the invisible shockwave generated by the aircraft, changing the air density around it. In announcing Boomless Cruise, the company had positioned several other teams on the ground with microphones and sound pressure recording equipment at strategic locations in relation to XB-1's flight path. After the break, Lakeland Aero Club enters partnership.
The legendary BD4C program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged 4-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit SureWings.com and BDAviation.com for more details.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Lakeland Aero Club enters partnership. The Lakeland Aero Club and the Aerospace Center for Excellence announced a new partnership in which ACE will take over managing the day-to-day operations of the club and continue to nurture an environment to develop young aviators into responsible young adults and leaders. The LAC was founded in 2011 by aviation philanthropist James C. Ray, who funded the program to establish its foundation for the purpose of exposing young people to various aspects of aviation. It started as an after-school program for students of the Central Florida Aerospace Academy. ATC mandatory retirement age may get pushed back. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has sparked more industry debate by suggesting an extension to the mandatory retirement age for air traffic controllers. His proposal would offer a pay boost to controllers who work past the current age cap of 56. He plans to formally present the offer to controllers sometime in the next week and hopes to bring some much-needed relief. The FAA is currently 3,000 controllers short, with fewer than 1 in 10 airports meeting the standards set by the agency and NATCA. EasyJet flight diverts after captain collapses. The first officer on an EasyJet flight from Hurghada, Egypt to Manchester had to make an emergency landing in Athens after the captain collapsed mid-flight. Flight EasyY2252, operated on an Airbus A320, was expected to make a typical 6-hour flight to Manchester Airport in England. According to witnesses, the cabin crew was in the middle of serving beverages when someone collapsed near the cockpit. They rushed to the front of the aircraft and began calling for medical assistance. Flexjet deal drives record Embraer backlog. Embraer recently announced a deal with private jet company Flexjet, which is valued at up to $7 billion and has more than 180 guaranteed orders. The agreement brings the manufacturer's backlog to a record $26.3 billion backlog, marking a 40% year-to-year increase. Michael Amalfitano, president and CEO of Embraer Executive Jet, said, quote, "We are delighted with Flexjet's renewed commitment to Embraer through this comprehensive purchase agreement, which strengthens even further our strategic partnership of over 20 years." End quote. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. FAA changes NOTAM acronym again. In a significant yet largely symbolic decision, the FAA has decided to revert the NOTAM acronym from Notice to Air Missions back to Notice to Airmen. This change, announced in Notice 793.114, took immediate effect on February 10th. NOTAMs are used for aviators to get an idea of typical day-to-day operations, potential hazards, or airspace changes at airports. Pilots are required by law to sort through NOTAMs before every flight under the FAA's regulation for them to become familiar with, quote, "all available information concerning that flight," end quote, before takeoff. The Biden administration changed NOTAMs from the long-standing Notice to Airmen name to Notice to Air Missions in 2021. The new term aimed to be more inclusive of female pilots and drone operators. Now that the Trump administration has moved in, the 2021 switch has been reverted and NOTAM is back to the Notice to Airmen phrase. So what does this mean for pilots? Practically nothing. NOTAMs are still the same jumble of lingo that pilots must decode to learn about a 60-foot crane 5 miles from a runway. The change will, however, require edits to countless FAA documents and systems, ensuring that government employees spend valuable time replacing one 3-word phrase with another. After these messages, Vince Neal's jet involved in fatal Arizona crash.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Welcome back. Vince Neal's jet involved in fatal Arizona crash. A private jet owned by Vince Neal, lead singer of Mötley Crüe, veered off the Scottsdale Airport runway and collided with another aircraft. The incident killed 1 and left 4 others injured. The jet involved is a Learjet 35A registered to Chromed in Hollywood, which lists Neal as its director. It was headed from Austin, Texas to Scottsdale, Arizona on February 10th. At around 2:45 p.m., the aircraft landed and swerved off the runway. It came to a stop after crashing into a Gulfstream 200 parked on the ramp. Authorities confirmed 1 fatality. Scottsdale Fire Captain Dave Folio reported that 1 person was trapped inside the wreckage but was rescued and transported to a trauma center in critical condition. Another individual was also listed as critical, while a 3rd had non-life-threatening injuries. A 5th person declined medical treatment. The FAA and the NTSB have launched an investigation to determine the cause of the crash, though early reports indicate that the Learjet's landing gear may have been a factor. Authorities noted that the gear failed to deploy, leading to the loss of control upon landing. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.